ensuring that students are marketable and that they are prepared for the real world. And so absolutely, that's going to mean that we have to pay close attention to the skills that students need in order to be marketable, and through our course offerings, but also more specifically how we're teaching and what we're teaching in the classroom environments, being conducive to some of those situations that students will need to be in and where they exercise specific skills. We have to evolve with it and stay ahead of the curve, if you will.
Thank you. We're going to move on to Mr. Hills.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to the Henderson team. I'd like to start off by introducing the team that I have with me this evening. I have our Director of Counseling, Ms. Alana Reyes, as well as our CTE Collaborative Team Leader, 6 through 12, and that's Mr. William Snyder. So I did want to start off before I turn it over to Ms. Reyes in an effort to really make sure that we focus on the vertical articulation piece, which I feel like when we come to the board, we talk about that connection often between the middle school and high school. And we had an opportunity a few weeks ago to meet as a CTE 6 through 12 team. During that meeting, I applauded Henderson's ability to really make sure that we take a look at the structure so that when students enter 9th grade, they are more prepared. Principal Hardy and I had a conversation this morning about that exploratory piece, making sure that students have every opportunity in the world of CTE to be successful, so that way when they become 9th graders and eventually move on to 11th and 12th and further on, that they are exposed to what it is that we're asking them to do and allows them to be successful in the workforce. I'm going to allow Mr. Snyder to kind of talk a little bit about one of our IBHL courses that is part of that matriculation piece that Mr. Bates pointed out this evening. But as I mentioned earlier, it is critical to make sure that we are aligned pre-K through 12. We're going to talk tonight a little bit about the 5 courses. Not all of the 5 courses are related to the CTE field, but many of them do have CTE components. And really what we've done is we've had a meeting with our instructional leadership team and taken a look at the courses our students have taken, some of the courses they're signing up for, and what that data is showing us in terms of what we're offering. So without further ado, I will turn it over to our Director of Counseling, Ms. Reyes.
Hi guys, good evening. We are going to go through our 5 courses that we are proposing to the school board this evening. And I'm going to go ahead and start with IB Design Technology, HL1 and HL2. The school board approved 2 years ago us introducing IB Design and Technology at the SL level. We have seen an incredible amount of interest and growth in that coursework. Mr. George has done an incredible job garnering interest and having kids stick with his program, and so we do feel that we can warrant running an HL1 and HL2 version of the course. It would be co-seated with the SL version, so we're not looking to read another section of design and technology, but it would allow even more students potentially to access IB courses or even access the full IB diploma if they're looking for an additional HL coursework. If you want, we can go into detail about what the course teaches, but it really is going to harness what the SL does in 1 year and break it into 2 years, going into further depth what they teach in the SL version. Any questions? And again, that really will continue with the CTE sequence that we've been talking about today. I feel like this is like the capstone. Offering HL is really the pinnacle of that. And so if a student starts out, with in 6th grade, especially now with what's being established at Henderson with the computer science, they really can go all the way through in a multitude of different areas under CTE, whether computer science or the design world, and earn a full IB credit through there. Okay, so next is going to be probability and statistics. This is going to be a new math course that we're looking to offer at the high school for 11th and 12th graders. And we feel that this course would fill a need with some of our students that might not be necessarily calculus bound or driven, but want to continue in that math sequence, want to continue exploring math for whatever is after high school. So this course will be open to a variety of different learners. It will be students can either access this class after Algebra 2 or after a class called AFDA, Algebra Functions and Data Analysis. Those are the prerequisite is completing one of those two courses. There is no SOL linked with the course, but it really is going to be, I know at least when I was an undergrad, I was not a math student. I was a psych major, shocking. And math was really scary. But when I went to stat, I was like, I get this. It makes sense. It has real world applications, and we're excited to be able to offer this class. We used to offer AP Statistics, which is a great class, but again, that was accommodating our highest level learners in terms of AP Statistics really is comparable to a junior level college class. This is really for high school students to get them ready for the real world and for college. So that would be probability and statistics. We know we will teach it under the IB lens. It will not be an IB course, but it will count for a math credit for graduation. Just keep going. The next would be ceramics. Ceramics will fall under our BPA courses. Our new building has an incredible amount of space allotted for our arts courses, and I believe we are expecting 6 ceramic wheels to be installed in the new building. And so we were like, we better figure out how we're going to utilize those in the best capacity. And our instructors feel that offering a ceramics course is exactly what we need to do. Our students love the hands-on. There's a lot of therapeutic ability in being able to work with your hands. Some kids really like the arts, but they get overwhelmed by the drawing and the technical aspect, but clay is freeing. And so we really do feel that students would enjoy this. We would not be looking, again, to offer another section in our arts offerings. We would basically substitute. So right now this year, for example, we offer 4 Art 1 courses. Next year, potentially, we would offer 3 Art 1 and 1 Ceramic 1. We would open it up 9th through 12th graders. There is no prerequisite to take ceramics. And I just think it might be a great class for 9th graders to kind of dig in and enjoy, but also really be able to build something. I also think it allows them to potentially explore if they like the arts piece or if they like the building piece. And again, that's the connection we can make with our other CTE classes. All of our fine arts teachers and CTE teachers work together and are able to kind of harness where the students' strengths are, and I feel that this class will just enhance our offerings. Next will be Human Anatomy and Physiology. This class, I think, is going to have an incredible amount of interest. We have been able to build capacity over the last few years. We used to have our students take EMT and sports medicine over at Arlington Career Center. Because we had such interest, we started offering the courses in our building. And I will tell you, as an aside, our sports medicine class has 22 students enrolled. It is super popular. We went from having maybe 6, 7 students take it at ACC to now having a full class at Mason. And it's a 2-credit class, meaning they are giving up both electives just to take that class every day. This class really builds on what they're learning in either EMT or sports medicine. It could be a standalone, but it could also be taken in conjunction in order for students to earn a biology 2 credit towards graduation. We have seen that we currently offer astronomy through our high C classes. What we are looking to do is replace Earth Science 2 astronomy with Human Anatomy and Physiology and continue to offer astronomy through high C. So we're actually gaining a class, but we're just teaching the other class in a different capacity through high C. And our students' interest in the medical field is exponential. And so I do feel that it harnesses our CTE curriculum, our interest in science, and I think our kids will, in terms of real life skills, right? It's important to know what bones you have. And finally, we have our technical theater class. This has been something that the theater department has been wanting to look to run for years, and we really do feel that we have the interest to run this potentially this year. We have a lot of students that love being part of theater, but they are not actors. Being on the stage is kind of their worst nightmare, but being part of the atmosphere and part of that experience is really what draws them into the theater world. And so this would harness that ability. In Virginia, technical theater is taught as under a fine arts course. If you look at Virginia Tech, I believe, they offer the class under what we consider a CTE label. So it really can grow. A technical theater, a design designing sets, building, that really can involve so much more than just the fine arts. And I feel that if students start in a potential technical theater course, that could grow also into design and IB design and harness that way. They also could go to IB theater. What Mr. Northrup is feeling is that if we do have the interest for this, he could offer one section of technical theater and one section of regular theater. And that would, again, continue to help to grow our theater program. I think I'm done.
So I'm sorry, Ms. Reyes.
Please.
I would like to know more about that design course.
Great.
So,
So the design course, the first year of the design course is to go through the system life cycle. How do you build a product? How do you go from thinking of a client to actually producing it, whether it's from SketchUps, drawings, to actually maybe 3D modeling it, to actually building the product. Last year we had a student that designed a poncho that was supposed to turn into a sleeping bag, which it did, under the mindset of helping refugees and then being used as a tent. So she designed that as her internal project for the IB assessment. The part two, the HL2 class, now if she took this class this year, we would have had it that she would have talked about mass production and sustainability. How can you actually produce this on a large scale level and make it so it's environmentally sound and also so it's cost-benefit analysis and good management skills. So that would be like the second half of the course, adding on to the design cycle.
Okay, seeing no other comments. Oh, maybe Mr. Anderson? Yeah, okay.
Well, I was just wanting to see if anybody else wanted to go. I was interested in the ceramics class, and you know, you were talking about people who want to be able to manipulate and be involved in art, and I'm wondering if that has potential therapeutic value for students with maybe sensory processing differences in helping them be able to engage more fully.
Absolutely. Our arts program has done an incredible job working with all of our students at all abilities, and I do think clay can be very therapeutic. Art therapy is an incredible field, and a lot of times it's about building and not worrying about the perfectionistic aspect of what you're doing, but just working with your hands. And I know the arts department does a great job of their after-school club. I do think if we are able to offer ceramics and start building that program, they'll be able to use more of that with our students. And yeah, absolutely with sensory issues. Some students, that would be their worst nightmare, playing with clay, especially if they have sensory stuff. But for some, it really can be of huge benefit.
Thanks.
I just want to say thank you to this great team for coming out here tonight and talking about their courses. All of them sound very exciting. I think one of the courses I want to just call particular attention to is the fact that they are filling that math sequence gap that has been identified by the team at Mason and really helping support our students take 4 years of mathematics if they want to and be able to access it. And maybe it's not the IB, HL, or SL, but they are accessing mathematics. Because one of the things we do know is that students often, and this is one of the drawbacks, I think, of the accelerated mathematics sequence that we run up against with some folks that really want to start algebra as early as 6th grade, is that the data and research shows that if you start algebra in 7th grade, the likelihood of doing 4 years of mathematics in high school actually diminishes incredibly, where students actually will only take 3 years of mathematics when they get to high school, and that 4th year then is open. So being able to offer a 4th year to anybody who wants to take it, whether you're a higher level student or a sort of in that middle range kid, we can certainly build a program to meet everybody's needs. And I think being able to identify that was really important. So thank you.
Just want to piggyback on that how important it is to have that math class, but not the upper level in math class of every student, because from personal experience of not being the greatest of math students, having that option of you want to still do the 4 years to be prepared when you go to school, college, where you're not taking that gap year in between, having an option out there for those students to take, I think is a really good something to do, so that every student has that opportunity to be able to take that additional math course if they so choose to.
And if I could just add, that's always a priority of our school and our department, is that regardless of whether you're earning the standard or the advanced diploma, we want you to pursue 4 years of all your core curriculum. Because if you have any intention of going on to higher education one day, even if it's not right after high school, we want you to be prepared. And so taking a year off isn't going to serve anyone very well, but this really will allow them to kind of bridge that gap.